Hello, welcome to 20th Century Adventures Artifact of the Week. This week we're going to talk a little bit about water. So historically, in the 18th and 19th centuries, the water was questionable at best. In towns you did not drink water, you would drink something that was brewed. They didn't understand why, but they knew that people didn't get sick if they drank tea or beer. Whereas they would get sick if they drank water, so they felt like water had to be processed in some way into this other beverage to make it safe. And we now know that the process of boiling in making those beverages is what was killing the bacteria. Now, in pristine wilderness, you could probably drink water coming out of a cave. You could drink, mountain snow runoff without too many problems. But anywhere else, if you just drank the water out of a creek or a brook running by, you would most likely get sick. And that's still the case today. So nowadays, backpackers carry lightweight water filters that allow them to purify the water, or they may use purification tablets. Those don't usually taste very good, but they will keep the water safe. But the backpacking pumps are kind of the favorite thing. But that's not a new concept. So we're going to show you this piece here today. This is the Berkefeld Filter Company, and it's a water filtration system. Works just like the modern ones. Maybe not quite as good on bacteria as the modern day filters. This one actually, I need to do some work on it because it doesn't work yet. And the big issue is there's no seal in the plunger. And I haven't figured out exactly what it's supposed to be. In most of these things, it was a piece of leather that created the suction, and I just need to figure out exactly how big it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to work. So that's going to take a little bit of trial and error to make that work. But the idea is you have a spigot here at the bottom, intake, and it's got a little ball inside there to make it into a check valve, so the water will only come in, it won't come back out the bottom. So you stick that part in your stream, or obviously you want to try to find the cleanest water you possibly can. But let's say you stick that into a nice running creek that's probably going to be fairly clean. And then you pump your water, or pump your plunger up and down, and it creates a suction that pulls the water up and puts it into this double cylinder system here. And in the center of this, the tube is filled with diatomaceous earth. And some water filters today still use diatomaceous earth. Sometimes they'll combine it with charcoal to give it a better filtration system. But diatomaceous earth has been known for a long time for various purposes. And you can still buy it easily. Most gardening companies will have it. You can also buy, I think, a food grade diatomaceous earth, which is probably what you want to use in this. But when you pump it, it pushes it through the filter and it comes out the spigot at the top here. And so that's really, really cool. I think these were primarily designed for the British Army. This particular one was for the British Army. But there were civilian versions as well. They were not cheap, but if you were an avid outdoorsman, you may want to have something like this with you. Now this is quite heavy. I wouldn't want to go backpacking with this today, but this would be something you could keep in your car. If you were motor camping, it'd be great to keep in your automobile. So really neat piece. Now, once you have filtered your water, how are you going to store it? Well, of course you could put it in a canteen or any number of vessels. I've even seen glass bottles used, although it's dangerous to hike with a glass bottle because you could fall on it, it could break and hurt you. And they don't hold up real well in automobiles, so glass bottle will stay away from, but a tin canteen, that's okay. But what was really popular was using a canvas bag like this. So this is a linen canvas, it's not cotton. Linen can make a tighter weave. It has longer strands than cotton. So usually these bags are made of linen, and it's a real thick, very tightly woven linen. And what you would do is first you would soak the bag to get it good and wet. And then you would fill through this hole in the top, and there should be a cork here. That's missing the cork on this one. But you would fill, so if you're pumping, you have to have a friend hold this, and you stick this in your creek and you pump and you fill the bag up with the purified water. And then as it is filled, what's going to happen is little droplets of water are going to form on the outside, and those will be evaporated by the air flowing. You want to hang it somewhere where it's got a lot of airflow. In fact, a lot of motor campers in the day would hang this on the car itself as they drove down the road. And a lot of people think that they're for cooling the radiator. I don't think they would really do that much good. It actually would probably do less good because it's blocking part of your radiator. I see people hang these on the front of their cars from their hood ornament all the time, and that really would actually hinder your radiator because it's not allowing airflow through it. So that's not what this is for. Don't do that. But you could hang it on the windshield support, or on your back irons for your top. If you had your top up, you can hang that right there on the irons. So the point is to get as much airflow around it as possible, and the more airflow you have around it, the more those water droplets will evaporate. And anybody who's not slept through physics class knows that if water is evaporating, it's creating a cooling effect. And so what will happen is, if you fill this up and you hang it on your car and you drive down the road for about an hour, then you'll take this bag off and you'll have lost some of the water due to weeping and evaporation, but what's inside will be cool, like really almost not quite refrigerated cool, but it'll be nice and cool. A lot cooler than a canteen sitting in the sun would be. Those get real hot real fast, and hot water does not taste good. So this was a way to have good tasting water, and you would put your clean purified water into it, and that would be your drinking water for your trip. So these are really cool. The only drawback to this that I've found, and I have never had the opportunity to get my hands on a brand new one. I can't even find this fabric to try to make one. So all the ones I've tried were antique ones, and they do work. But the water ends up tasting like old canvas, and that's just not pleasant. So maybe someday I'll find the right canvas and be able to make a new one so that I can actually use it and enjoy it. But anyway, there's our artifacts this week. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please click like and subscribe, and we'll see you down the road.